Hello, hello. Welcome to the Kirby Phares Show. I'm Kirby Phares, and I'm joined by the ever delightful, beautiful, handsome, dependable. What else, Sam? Sam Ald. I buried the lead there.
Glad to be back. Been a while, but we've been grinding our lives,
Yeah.
I guess, but we're back to grind the Kirby Phares Show.
Exactly, Sam. Thank you so much for joining me once again. And I'm sad to say, guys, this is, the most consistent thing about the Kirby Phares Show is that we're inconsistent. But, it's something I love to do. I think it's something Sam loved to do. Just a time to come together as friends and talk some ball, talk some personal stuff that, we want to share with you guys, but it was too hard to text. So you guys got a sense of it as well. But guys, this is going to be the last Kirby Phares Show episode for probably a while, more than the 8 months since the last one. Hopefully that's not a promise, but it's probably the most likely thing that's going to happen. I am going back to school, going to business school. And that's a big reason why we've been so absent. I spent all last summer while doing the pod studying for, the GRE/the GMAT, failed the GMAT, had to switch to the GRE, which happens.
What's the difference, honestly?
The GMAT is really heavy on math and also this oh gosh, what was it called? Something where you have to look at charts and
some stats
decipher information from it, which is horrible for someone with ADHD and has a track record of not looking at information and writing it down on the page correctly. Yeah, so that turned into writing essays, which, I talked about the Kirby Phares Show a lot. It has been something I've been able to grow. It's grown me. It's taught me so much about who I am, what I want in life. Turns out it wasn't a podcast. But I know. So then that was like 5 months of writing essays. And then we get into interviews, which was incredibly terrible. But again, podcasting helped me a lot with that because,
True.
my show rundowns, those were really intense. And that was exactly what I would do for prepping for an interview, right? So that's where we're at, guys. Obviously, I'll be busy. This takes a lot of work. Each episode is about 8 hours of recording, prepping, even though this one took me like 45 minutes because, I wasn't doing it in Milanote this time, which I could color coordinate and do all of that. We're back in the Google Doc. But yeah, I just wanted to do this last episode, have some closure for myself, have some closure for Sam. And hopefully the fans out there that you'll see this push notification that the Kirby Phares Show is back and you'll be like, whoa, Kirby Phares Show is back. Sam, do you have any words before we move on to the actual content?
Any words? Yeah, just kind of echoing what you said. The Kirby Phares Show is probably like the reason why Kirby and I are still friends after I moved away from Boston. So that's good. And even though we had hiatuses, we were still texting each other and sending dumb stuff on Instagram or whatever about shout out Tony P in DC. He's like,
oh,
that's our guy on Instagram.
I forgot to write that down. Tony P is everything.
I think what I was trying to get at is just, keep in touch with your friends, check in on somebody and, find some sort of common interest if it's sports or baking or riding bikes or whatever.
Yeah, it's easy,
good.
Every time I see something that I think Sam will like or I'll like, every time there's breaking news, Sam, did you see this? Sam is the first one. I was really checking in on every single hour, I feel like, on the LeBron drop. And somehow you still beat me. That pissed me off a little bit. But we'll get to that. Oh, yeah, I was thinking about it, Sam, that you came into my life when I was 24 years old.
Because it was 2023? Yeah.
You were one of my first, truly adult friends.
Wow.
And that's kind of crazy to me.
Didn't remember from college or high school type of thing?
Yeah. Because a lot of people I met here were Caroline's friends in Cambridge. Even as, exuberant as I am, like, I am a loner at heart, like, you
Yeah,
know.
listeners, if you don't know the origin story, Caroline and my ex-girlfriend were like, I think Sam and Kirby would like each other. Like, let's introduce them type of thing.
So the way I was introduced to Sam was, man, Sam is such a quiet guy. Like, he really needs some friends. And I'm like, well, I need some friends, and I'm really good at making friends when I
I know.
want to. And then I meet Sam, and he's like so not quiet. And I was like, what's happening? I mean, the first like meetup was super awkward, right? Like,
When we
it
went
felt
to
like a
that burger
first date.
place. Yeah.
No, the one where you came over to watch the Cowboys Eagles
Yeah.
game, where we couldn't be further apart on the couch.
Yeah. I was like, don't know what's going on here.
I was like,
but
who
all right.
is this man? Why did I invite him to my house for the first time? I'm meeting him. That was crazy. And then, yeah, you got broken up with, and I
Moved
never.
away.
No, we watched another game at that bar where I forgot my wallet, and
Yeah.
Caroline had to meet me halfway. What game was that? Probably.
I think it was Duke and UNC football.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I was pretending. That's how you become a friend, is I pretended I cared about that game. But yeah, and then you got broken up with, and then I was like, obviously, if you guys remember Cam, he left me and learned a real lesson in not getting mad at people and persisting, and was like, you know who I like better than Cam? Sam.
You already got 2 of the letters down too.
Right. That was the most confusing. So who's this? Well, the good thing is that everyone thought Cam's name was Sam.
He was just warming the seat.
Right, exactly.
One more shout out.
Yeah,
shout out the and I forget his name, I'm sorry, but shout out the police officer that picked Kirby up when she had the car crash in North Carolina.
God.
Was it like Officer Jones or something?
It was something like that.
Shout out that guy. He's a big part of the Kirby
when I got
show.
in that terrible accident, and because I was on my way to see Sam, about an hour out from Raleigh, getting this truly should have died.
It's like
car crash.
Raining, car crash.
I'm like fucking out of my body. Sam's like, I'm like, can you come get me, crying? And Sam's like, I have no clue where you are. I've never been to this part of North Carolina, but yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to share my location with you. Please come find me. And yeah, Officer Ken. That was his name.
Officer Ken, that's right.
He stayed with me the entire time. We drove back the next day to go get random shit out of my car.
See what you wanted to get.
I couldn't take anything. I left my meat with you.
That's
that
true.
Sausage, a couple beers that you probably didn't drink. It was just for guests.
Nope. They were just in my fridge until I moved out of that apartment. I'm like, well, I'm not taking these.
But man, if it was some Dr. Pepper, it would have been gone immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Officer Ken, the only policeman I can say can be talked about on this podcast. Because what, guys? We don't talk to cops.
Get your lawyer.
Yeah, that's Caroline. If Caroline was here and I said, do you have anything to say? That's what she would say. So in honor of Caroline, do not talk to the police. You don't have to.
Don't have to.
Remember that. Anyways, yeah, Sam, take it away.
A lot has been happening since we last spoke. It's been most of 2026 since we've spoken. And so just the quick rundown, and then we can kind of dig into each of these. But we had the Super Bowl in February. Seahawks beat the Patriots. Get to March Madness. We got UCLA winning on the women's side and Michigan on the men's side. WNBA rolls around and Players Association gets a new collective bargaining agreement, which we'll get into those numbers. Kind of moving into the summer. Big news of the summer. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married.
We still have no pictures.
Yeah, we'll get into that. On the NFL side of things, Myles Garrett traded from the Browns to the Rams. So, don't want to mess with the Rams. The Knicks, they win the NBA championship in 5 games over the San Antonio Spurs. Later on in the summer, we have Spain winning the World Cup in, the World Cup that happened in North America. And then kind of the most recent news is we have LeBron James signing with the Philadelphia 76ers.
which is wild.
Kind of
Bringing back
swan songs.
the super team, which always works. So I guess we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll dig a little deeper into some of these really important things, such as the CBA and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. And then I want to get into, a little bit more about what we've been doing and give you a little more insight on who we are now from where we were 8 months ago, which is crazy. So yeah, see you on the other side.
And we're back.
Thank you, Sam. So I want to jump into the WCBA long negotiation. This is actually a big reason why I can no longer do the Kirby Phares Show, is that I want to go into sports business. So I do not want record of anything I have to say. So this will be all positive. And I obviously have nothing negative to say about girls getting their bag, but hey. So after long negotiations between Nafisa Collier and Enrique Gumbawale with Kathy, the commissioner, it was tense, kind of like we're not talking to each other, we're slandering in the media. It got really messy. But in the end, historic, if I didn't already say that, because we all know the WNBA has heated up over the past couple of years, largely due to youth coming in. Not that the girls before or the women before weren't fantastic, but coming out of college basketball with NIL deals, we really got some traction on the young ladies, which transferred to new fans for the WNBA, and we're happy to have you, and we hope you stick around. So quick detail, because it's really, actually the details are important, obviously, in any contract and negotiation. Big one was the salary cap. It was raised from 1.5 million in 2025 to $7 million for 2026, which means obviously, if you don't, not obviously, but the salary cap is the amount of money that, you can pay total of players. And if it's 1.5 million, that means across I think it was 10 players.
Yeah, like you're always seeing news where it's like some, good player was just getting waived, and it's like, well, they only have so much money they can spend.
Right. Minimum salary before was roughly $66,000, and now it ranges from $270,000 to $300,000 supermax. So we're talking about, our LeBron Jameses of the WBA, aka Asia Wilson, was previously around $250,000, and now it's $1.4 million, which is, she's worth $1.4 million. Like, that's just how it is, And yeah, now the average salary instead of $125,000 is approximately $600,000. And the big thing for this is that a lot of more talent is staying in the WNBA and not going overseas, because they do get paid more overseas and the accommodations are better over there. So I think that's better for, obviously better for the WNBA to have elite talent against elite talent. And yeah, lastly, a big thing of what they were negotiating on was revenue share. And currently, they got it up to 20% of gross revenue is going to be shared with the players. And also now they have private charters for every single team from game to game. So unfortunately, you will not be able to see your local team in the airport with you, which is great, because there was a lot of players were experiencing, hate from random people in the airport and being harassed and stuff like that. So at least cutting that out in the instance of in the airport, although sadly to say that's still happening online. And that's something that Kathy Engelbert is trying to, work on and get that addressed. So that's the major part of that, the CBA, which is, like I said, revolutionary. It's going to set up women's basketball, at least in America, for the next couple of years. and hopefully we'll get something even better after that. Once women's basketball continues to soar and be a proves itself to be a major moneymaker, and we're going to be getting on to these freaking NBA contracts where how much are they making? Like $500 million
Yeah, like the top of the line.
is the Supermax contract, which is insane.
My favorite thing is when like a big like international soccer player gets like a new deal and it's like the top of the line and someone just like retweets it. It's like, oh yeah, this is, so and so role player, like 10th man money numbers. It's like, whoa, that is crazy.
It's crazy. That brings me to a separate comment about Wemby taking a pay cut so they can get more players
Like
or different players.
More flexibility.
And I just think that's insane for Wemby to do because he's like in his third or fourth year. Like that shit a veteran does because they already have a lot of money. Like what you're starting this precedent now that you're gonna take pay cuts. Like
I think it's their CBA with the aprons or whatever is like why players have like Wemby are doing that type of thing.
I just think that's
just to keep
insane.
him out of the whatever apron.
It's like make your money first, kid. You don't you don't know how short your career could be, is the thing.
Yeah.
So, you're playing a game for other people's enjoyment. Like
get your bag.
Get your bag, But yeah, let's move on to love. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift finally tied the knot at MSG the day before the 4th of July.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was either the 3rd or the 5th, but I think it was the 3rd.
It was also like a big story online because like people knew it was happening, but it was shrouded in such secrecy. And like, I think this could just be hearsay, but I was hearing things about like NDAs being signed for attendees.
Yeah, and you couldn't bring your phone in.
Yeah.
So there's
nobody knows what's happening, but
0 photos still to this day of the wedding, which is really crazy and honestly a little rude, Taylor. We all wanted to be there with you.
You think she's just waiting though? That could be like a good
Caroline thinks there's gonna be like a movie or something with it, which I totally get because that girl can make some money off of anything, and she spent all her money getting her music rights back. So, Travis is retiring soon. Someone's gotta keep the household going. The word is that she invited everyone she knew. Has ever met, so she didn't have to whittle down the list, which I think is genius. And that's how you end up renting out MSG for your wedding, which I think is sweet in a sense of like you're bringing in Travis's thing, and then also with like the musicians, like they've played there or aspire to play there. So I think it's a cute little meet in the middle. It was funny to see the photos afterwards of like just mirror selfies because you couldn't bring your phone in, and it was just like, here's us before we went, What else? Knicks won the NBA championship. That was really big for me. You guys know I'm a Knicks fan, certified.
She's got the hat. Yeah.
Got the hat on. Got another hat, but it fits less well.
I think, didn't you like officially, state your Knicks fandom? Was it before this last season or before like 2 seasons ago?
I think
Wasn't that something you did?
2 seasons ago, yeah. Definitely I was still working at DFP, so that would have been 2020 or
yeah, so like 2 seasons ago.
Doesn't really matter other than your girl's always right. And yeah, LeBron signs with the 76ers. Before we get to, the more what you want to hear. LeBron signs with the 76ers after, what do you think, that was a month-long wait after he said he's leaving the Lakers?
It was such a wait that even Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, was like, man, I wish he would sign so we can make the schedule. Because you got to feature the games with LeBron.
Right. I mean, I'm so excited for him to be on the East Coast again so I can watch his games.
Watch it.
I could watch maybe a fifth.
First half, yeah.
Of the games, they
start at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's like,
if I happen
have work
to be
in the morning.
Up at 10 p.m., I'd put it on. Same thing with the Aces right now. also
Oh,
being on the
yeah.
West Coast. Like every single one of their games starts at 10.
I liked when before he had signed, and like every team and like their fans was like, what's the reason why he might go sign with us or whatever. And my favorite was all the Hornets fans in Charlotte were like, LeBron's on the record of really liking Bojangles, and so just makes sense to sign with the Hornets. I don't think they were saying it seriously, but I don't know. I love that. It's like, shout out Bojangles.
Bojangles actually sucks to me.
Really?
It's a bad
honestly, I
product.
don't get it that much.
It is a really bad product. Maybe what? I feel like he was saying that like 15 years ago. I could believe 15 years ago
I think it's the
Bojangles
biscuits.
slapped. Sam, I want to move on to, now that we've covered sports and catching you up, probably a little long-winded on that one. I want to take it back to what's been going on with us. So I asked Sam to prepare a list of, weird things that have grown on us, not algae, but, weird things that we love now that we wouldn't have expected 8 months ago. I've also prepared a list, but we'll hear Sam's first.
Oh, me first. All right. Well, this is going to be totally normal and not weird, but it's weird for me is that in all of like 27 years, never drank coffee, but in like the past like 6 months, I've started to liking it. And, I'm in the office, I'm going down to the coffee shop, getting, iced latte in the morning. I'm like, hey, this is, pretty good actually.
What's your order?
And like, what's that?
What's your order?
I like a brown sugar iced latte from the coffee shop. Yeah. Because then I go to work, I go to the fridge at work where they have all the snacks.
Right.
And they have the perfect protein bars, which are like peanut butter, and there's like a chocolate chip peanut butter one. And that with like the brown sugar latte. Oof, it's really good.
You work at one of those fancy places with office snacks.
I know. Yeah. DoorDash credit too. Oof.
Oh, that's a good update. I've actually gotten off of coffee this summer.
Really?
Yeah, it's really like messing me up.
Well, yeah, I'm not on it like every day of the week, but it's mainly when I'm in the office. The thing, as people can see from the background, big reader back there. And again, it was a thing where it's like, I just love physical books and like cracking them open. But just in the past couple months, I've like really dived into ebooks.
Whoa.
And like collecting them all and like, finding ways to, use the online library services and then kind of keep those files forever type of deal. Won't go any further into that, but it's kind of nice just having a little e-reader and be like, man, I don't have to lug around 3 books on this vacation or whatever.
3 books?
Sometimes I would do that, yeah. It kind of depends.
Jesus Christ. Guys, this may sound small, but this is really big for Sam.
Yeah.
An e-reader? Never would have seen that coming.
An e-reader, no. Mm-mm. And finally, this is the last one. This is probably the most shocking, I think, that I would have never expected, but I've been doing CrossFit. Like, I would have never expected to enjoy CrossFit because it's like a very scary thing when I wasn't doing it. I'm like, I don't know, those people are crazy, like, doing whatever. But, just was looking for a gym one day and I'm like, my girlfriend had done CrossFit in the past. I'm like, you want to check this one out? That's, 5 minutes from our house. And
amazing.
Started doing it together. And
so you're jacked
here I am.
now.
Yeah, obviously, as people can see.
But wow, yeah, that's
CrossFit. The shocking
I like
things.
that. Will not remind me because I think of it every day. I've been going to the Planet Fitness. And if you're on the internet and you see those videos of people on the Planet Fitness acting up, like, they're 100% true. People in there are doing the wildest things. There's this one man that wears sweats and this Hawkeye sweatshirt every single day, and he smells horrid and he grunts a lot, and he's like 45 and he goes at like 2 p.m., which is, it's an odd time for someone without a job. Obviously, I'm gonna go after this
when it's not busy. Question, is it that Planet Fitness that's like by that small little college where you kind of have to like go downstairs?
It's in the basement. Yeah,
in the basement. So that's another
light.
Vibe. Yep.
There's this one guy doing this ab machine and he was just humping it and he was like 65 And that makes you be like, man, what are you training for? Like, and also there's like
Man.
free memberships for children during the summer, which is actually counterintuitively my favorite part.
Yeah, I feel like that would drive the adults away.
I just think it's so cute that like 14-year-olds, they're never alone. They're always in a group, which like that part
Yep.
sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, guys, we're going to get together. It's like 14-year-olds going from 9th grade to 10th grade. And they're like, we're going to show up completely ripped. Because that is when, for the most part, they hit puberty. I would say it's like 50-50 of 9th to 10th and then 10th to 11th. When they become mature adults, men, hopefully. But they're the smallest little kids. The girls are actually the more annoying because they just get on the floor and
Start
take
yapping.
up the majority of the space doing abs. And it's like, you could have done that at your house. You did not need to come to the to the Planet Fitness to take up that much room. I'm sorry.
True.
Like,
True.
What are we doing?
Say it.
Lift some 5-pound weights, you know? But hey, you know, they all need somewhere to congregate. It's like the new Y. You know, back in the day, we either snuck into the Y or we got dropped off at the Y and you go hang with your friends. But now, you know, Planet Fitness is babysitting. And I think it's delightful.
We all need our third places or third spaces, whatever the term is. Really quick story about the Y. There was one time I was there pretty young and there was a tornado warning. So it's like, well, I have to go with my mom into the women's locker room. And I'm like, oh, this locker room just seems like the men's. But then for whatever reason, they had like wicker furniture. And I'm like, man, they're really living it up over here. They got like a nice couch. I'm like, yeah, that's just always stuck with me. I don't know why.
I don't quite see the correlation.
Me neither.
For why there was a tornado warning and you had to go in the women's locker room.
Because we had to like shelter, you know.
And you
like,
wanted to
like
go
you go to the
mom?
basement. Well, yeah, I was like a kid. I like was an adult.
You're like 7.
Yeah.
Okay. You couldn't go.
I was there for like swim lessons or something.
Right. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah, no, this was a couple months ago. I'm like, hey ladies, I gotta go with my mom. And
I was imagining like 12. And I was like, 12, you definitely could have gone.
12 is still, yeah.
It could have gone either way. But yeah, other than Planet Fitness, I've been ripping the Planet Fitness because it's 1/10 of the price of the other gyms around here. And again, unemployed. But my weird thing is that I'm really into Starbucks energy refreshers. They dropped those.
Energy refreshers.
Right.
Okay, so
they
had the refreshers
those
right
in like March.
So they had the like refreshers beforehand, right? And it was the like
pink
acai
drink.
Pink drink, yeah.
Yeah, if you know the pink drink, the acai, the strawberry. But now it comes with 150 milligrams of caffeine.
And this is why you had to quit coffee.
I love caffeine. Like I really, 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 which is why not being able to drink coffee is horrible because I don't have a lot of caffeine in my life. But that's the reason why I go to the gym more is because
it's next to a Starbucks.
No, separately, I found Liquid IV Energy. So I walk the dog in the morning, then I go to the gym so that I have my Liquid IV Energy. So I get my energy. And that's like, I assume it seems similar to pre-workout, but you just get, a lot of caffeine. And that's my caffeine for the day. But if I don't go, then it turns out it's like 3 p.m. And I'm like, well, let me go get a Celsius.
Were you ever on the Panera lemonade that kills you a couple years ago?
No.
That was before your time.
Before my time, yeah.
Before your caffeine love.
I mean, when that was a problem, I was in New York and I never saw a Panera.
That's fair.
Yeah, there's
I remember
Panera
getting one of those and like sharing it, but just like keeping it in the fridge and being like, well, here's my 2 sips for right now. Like, I don't need to drink this entire giant drink that will
totally
kill
something
me.
I would have fucked up for sure. Let's see what else. Back bends.
I'd
like to do that at the Planet Fitness so I can add to the horribleness. You know, if you're just going to see a lot of weird people doing weird shit, you might as well do it yourself.
Yeah, beat them.
Just get it out. What else?
I got set off the lunk alarm.
Nick's slides for my birthday. Caroline got them for me, and I used to be a slipper girl, but I'm into slides right now. Definitely the slippers will come back in the winter.
Yeah, got to.
I've never worn slides in my life.
Really?
Yeah, but I love a house shoe. So that's the thing. I love a house shoe. They don't go outside. They don't go to the basement. They're just my Nick slides. Let's see.
Shout out Deanne. She loves a house sandal, and she loves a specific Croc sandal that they don't make anymore. And so I think at one point she just bought like 6 pairs, and every time like one gets worn down, it's like, well, here's the next one. And identical pairs, you know.
That's when people find eBay.
That's true.
Homemade applesauce is on there.
Really? Okay.
2 Granny Smiths, 2 Fujis, 3/4 of a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, 1/8 a cup of white sugar, 20 minutes on medium heat, blend it. You got your homemade applesauce. Eat it in 3 days or else. For real or else.
Yeah, I can see the or else. I kind of had a similar one to that. I started making a salsa verde at home. So good. You know, just my Walmart near me sells tomatillos. So just go get those. Put them in the oven on broil for a little bit with like a jalapeno and some garlic. And then you just kind of throw it all in the food processor. Blitz it until you get your consistency and add some onion and cilantro and salt. And it's so good.
That does.
But another like, you got to eat this real soon.
Right. It goes bad. Once the water starts to separate, you know, you gotta hurry up.
Yep.
Last thing, which I'm probably most embarrassed about, is that I got back on Facebook for no reason other than the reels or whatever they call them. And I've gotten myself into a really niche corner where I get a lot of Australian content, specifically Bondi Beach Rescue and Bondi Vet. And so it's just like lifeguards saving people. And then this one, the most handsome white man you've ever seen in your life with a jaw to the gods, blonde curly hair, who is like, he can do penguins, he can do snakes, he can do tiny little geckos, he can do rats, he can do turtles.
Gen Z Steve Irwin type of deal.
Yeah. And he's just so handsome and he's so nice. He's so like, if someone comes in with the weirdest pet ever, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I will save them because it means a lot to this little girl. And you're like, wow, I love you so much. But yeah, I watch. So I know a lot about vet care and Australia. That's my new thing.
That's what you need.
Australian at heart now, which, you know, it happens. I'm a very impressionable lady, especially when a cute man is in there. Also, updates for sports. Joe Burrow, still hot.
Yeah, that's true.
Important to mention.
Updates. Jordan Love and his wife had a baby. I sent you a reel. I was going to ask you about this. Did you see how white the baby is? And like his wife is on reels like, guys, stop coming for my white baby.
Yeah, that's
She's
really
saying,
tough.
Like, that quarter whiteness will be kicked out soon enough or something.
It does. Let me send you this photo. That happened obviously with me as a biracial baby. I was
Can relate.
The whitest thing you've ever seen, such that they did not want to give me back to my mother after she birthed me. Which is like funny, but really sad.
Well, that's like...
Oh, here's me right after birth. I was 7 pounds and 12 ounces, guys, 19 inches.
Oh my gosh.
And I was white as can be probably until like 7. Probably once I started playing soccer. And I was like actively getting sun. Are you getting them?
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. Oh my gosh, the last one with your mom.
Isn't my mom so beautiful? And honestly, tell me I do not look the exact same. Like I have the same
face structure and like nose and stuff, but just like the palest face you could imagine on a baby.
Right. Yeah. So R.I.P. Mom. I know that was tough for you to not have people want to give your child back. But no, I totally get what Mr. Man is saying. And that can be, I can't imagine if my mom had to put that on the internet and they're like, this isn't your baby. I think I want to take a break and then come back on the other side. And I have a few more things I want to discuss about from there until now, what I've been up to, give some shout outs, and yeah, we'll try to wrap it up, but probably not. We'll see. All right, on the other side with the Kirby Phares Show.
And we're back.
I wanted to talk about what's got me here. The Kirby I am today wouldn't be here without Finista, which is a cafe down the street, which allowed me to be their general manager for 6 months. And
Shout out.
I thought, I convinced the owner. I knew him a little bit from going in there a bunch. And I was like, I have restaurant experience. My mom owned a restaurant. I've worked on it for 16 years, whatever. I know the ins and outs. Wrong. It was the hardest job I've ever done. It gave me so much reason to get up in the morning because I worked 6 to 7 days a week, 8 hours. I was in charge of literally everything.
Gosh.
As a scatterbrained person, it was almost impossible. And on top of being the manager, I also had to be a barista, and I am a horrible barista, it turns out. And it was really embarrassing to be managing all of these people, mainly baristas, obviously, and be like if someone came in to train, I'd be like, hey, you train her. And they're like, hey, do you know the recipe for this, Kirby? And I'm like, no.
You tell me.
I'm like, I'm going to the back to order. They're like, Kirby, we're almost out of this. I'm like, fuck. I guess I'll be here another hour. But yeah, I learned a lot about people, mainly managed people from all women, because I think that's critical to running a restaurant. A cafe, only hire women. No offense. Managed from 17 to 36. Was told to never say clock it again. That was a hard day. Had to work around prom schedules, had to work around people's back being hurt, had to work around breakups, had to work around crash outs, college exams, all this other stuff. But, I quit end of May because I got real down bad with some asthma, which was crazy because I never have asthma, but it was a 3 week of not being able to breathe.
Jeez.
And coughing all the time. And I was like, I cannot be the manager and cough all the time because people were really mean about it. And also it's gross. But when I did that, every single person was like, Kirby, you're the best manager I've ever had. You were such a lovely person. I really appreciate you, blah, 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 blah. Again, humble brag. Turns out I'm a great people person. And again, I think this will help me so much in business school. Really just reinforcing that I can do hard things. People like me. And I think I struggle a lot with thinking I'm a bad person. And just I don't think it's self-esteem. It's more doubt that I'm treating people well. And I don't quite know where that comes from, but it's definitely a major anxiety of mine. And doing that ahead of something that where I'm going to be talking to people a lot and forming a lot of relationships and wanting to navigate those correctly, I think was really important for me. And shout out to Pun for letting me run your cafe, even though it turns out I totally lied to you about my experience. But yeah, that also brings me, to the podcast of as I try to close up here of what these past 3 years have meant to me. Sam, you've been a part of it for a really long time. We didn't always have the most listeners, but
the ones we did.
No, you were at Ride and Dies, and I kept doing this for me, most, I'd say 50% for you, which I don't know. I never really knew if you cared about this or not, but I was I don't want to let Sam down. I want to be just someone that's reliable and consistent and not necessarily was I consistent in releasing episodes, but I was always consistent in caring about the podcast and wanting to do, best by it. And I decided almost a year ago or more than a year ago, to quit my job that was killing me. And the podcast was, no, I'm going to cry. It was a way, no, I don't want to cry. It was a way for me to get out of it, I think, and really bet on myself. Which you guys very obviously know. It didn't necessarily work out. I don't think in my heart of hearts, I really, expected the podcast to go big. I was always like, that'd be great if it did, but like, I just like knew it would be like a vehicle for me to get to bigger and, not necessarily better, but better, not necessarily bigger, but just like things that I knew I loved, and taking the chance of doing the podcast and doing something for myself and being brave and just like going for it and putting personal money into it that like I didn't necessarily have, because again, I quit my job, but it just like, I don't know, gave me a lot of, I don't know, things to be proud of. And I'm really happy that you guys have been here on my journey. I'm crying. But this is why I wanted to do this last episode. Be here with Sam. And if you're listening to this, you're probably over the age of 50. But do what you love. I learned a lot of that from my parents, of persisting through, I don't know, their own businesses, even on days that it sucked. Necessarily, do I want to be up on Saturday morning? No. Do I want to like sit in a hot closet? No. But I do it because I love it, and I always love sports, and Sam gave me someone to talk to about it, because I know I can talk a lot, but you need a co-host. And he so graciously joined me and was there for me and had a flexible schedule just to fucking fuck around on a mic for what's going on like 2 hours now. So Sam, I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate, Dad, Mom, you don't necessarily listen, but that's just because you're bad with technology. And my friends and Caroline. But yeah, guys, just like take it from me, go for, take the risk, but, definitely make sure you have money before you do it, or a trust fund, because I saved a lot of money before I took this step and tried my best at it, and then knew when to pivot. That's also important. Like, I knew business school was on the horizon for me, and if this didn't work out, but I think I learned a lot about splitting my eggs into different baskets. I think has like prevented me from doing a lot of different things. And like, that's definitely why the podcast didn't succeed when, I took the summer off to do it. But yeah, so then I put all my eggs in business school basket, and here I am going back to Dartmouth.
Going to business school.
I don't know what's next for me, but I'm going to put everything I have into it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, I guess, to go back to school and see what this next step comes for me. And yeah, I guess that's about it for me, guys, because I need to go wipe my nose and whatever. But, Sam, love you. Thank you all for listening. If you want, as usual, you can follow us on Instagram. Maybe not the Kirby Phares Show, but you can follow me at Kirby Phares. My stories have really been popping off lately and letting my hair down. So yeah, those are a bit crazier. What are you all, Sam?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Rate and review on Spotify. That always helps. Get these old episodes out. Maybe to inspire some people, young or old, to just get a friend, create a podcast, and see what happens.
That's right. And yeah, so inspired by all that you can find me on the Sam Alt Show coming soon. It won't be about sports. We'll figure that out when the time comes.
It'll be about cats and fantasy books.
The cats and fantasy books. That's yeah.
Well, yeah, guys. Kirby signing out. Goodbye.
See ya.